Hi guys. For this 10-minute session, I'm showing you what I do with my Philly Bugatti, teaching her how to accept treats properly for positive reinforcement. It's something we just started with her, but in order for positive reinforcement not to get too out of hand with them treat monkeying you, and to do it properly, you really need to teach them actually how to accept a treat the right way so things don't backfire on you. So here I have her tied up to the wall, which is the recommended way to start them out. She's actually been doing it for a little bit, a couple weeks now when this video was taken, but it is something that I find that I continue to do with her or maybe mix in between um, doing cues. So this is how I would start it. Um, Tied to the wall, that it's for safety reasons, and so they don't overcrowd you, getting too excited about the treats. It gives you an opportunity to walk away if they're getting a little too aggressive with looking for a treat. So what I'm looking for here is for her head to be straight, either straight or a little bit away from me. I'll still reward for that as well. Um, and body to be straight, not jumping around, wiggling around. Um, and what I'm trying to do here is build on her duration, um, for her to hold this relaxed position for longer periods of time. So I'm looking at her and I'm counting in my head to see kind of how long I can get her to hold it there. So when I start out, you might want to start out 1 second, and do 1 second for a long time, especially when you're starting out. Then go up to 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. It's all very incremental steps, very small steps, and a lot of patience. It's not the most exciting thing to be working on. It can get a little boring, but it is important. So you see when she started getting a little too treat muggy with me, I ended up turning my back towards her and walking away. I try not to push her away or elbow her or do things like that when she gets too in my space because I don't want the action of my arm elbowing her to get turned into a cue in her mind. So that was pretty good. I don't know how long. I'm not counting with myself to see how long I'm waiting, but you also want to try to, if you have an inkling that they're going to turn and look at you like that, try to get that click and reward in before they even do that. Definitely you don't want to click and reward when they do that or after they do that, because then you're going to be rewarding the action of actually turning and facing you and asking for the treat or demanding the treat. But if you can get that click and treat in right before they actually turn towards you, um, you're going to be a little bit ahead. So now she's actually reverting a little bit, going backwards, getting a little impatient. So now that she's had that time period where she was getting a little impatient, I kind of went back in my duration, back to a shorter duration, and rewarded on that. It's a lot of give and take with this kind of work. With any kind of work, really, it really is. But I think in my mind I was looking for 10 seconds for this session. So when she goes backwards like that, I might go back to rewarding for just 1 second and building back on it. She's probably gonna go through the ranks quicker. Um, if I go all the way back to 1 to 2, maybe I'll skip to 5. Um, and I'll try to find where her time frame is that she's actually most comfortable at and try to do that for a while and then build on that and do longer periods. And the click is what actually marks the behavior itself, because there's always going to be a delay with a treat. So by doing this, I'm marking the behavior of her head being straight, whether I'm looking at her body or not. She learns that that click is the marker for the correct behavior, and the treat is going to come. So I don't have to worry about being as quick with the treat, because the click is what's marking that. Just like when you're riding and you're using pressure release, they actually learn from the release instead of the pressure. So say you're leg yielding and you have your leg on them, and they move over, you take your leg off right away. They learn from that quick release. So that's kind of where that click noise is that I'm making. That's her marker, her cue, and that's what she learns off of. I'm just starting out doing this. I'm still a beginner at it, so sometimes my clicks and treats aren't the smoothest. Yeah, there, she thought about it, which was good. Which I probably should have clicked and treated before she started moving around like that. Like right after she thought about it, I should have got a click and a treat in. Right there, I should have did a click and a treat. But I was trying to get her to hold it, but now that I'm watching, you can see. And that's the good thing about videoing yourself. You can kind of go back and watch, okay, what really went on, what can I work on, what am I not doing that I think I'm doing in the moment, but I'm actually not doing. So I decided to step away a little bit just because she was getting in my space too much, which that's the reason for having her tied. So I'm just going to wait until she gets in that relaxed position, standing still, and reward her. I think I also started looking for her head to go down a little bit, which I'm going to start working on a little bit more. This is also a good exercise to do for a horse that needs some patience work standing tied, which is actually her. She needs a lot of patience work standing tied. I haven't really hauled her too much. She's hauled a couple times, and she wasn't really left at the trailer tied for long periods of time, but I can see this. I know she's antsy at home, and she can be impatient depending on the day, so I think this is a good exercise for her for that. So this is not her first time working on this. For the first time, basically, you're teaching them kind of, or loading them on the clicking noise and the treat, so that they know that click means a treat's coming, and then you just start building on their head placement and their body placement until they're standing a little more patiently and relaxed. Ultimately straight like she is. Right here, she's doing a really good job. She's actually pretty good. That I do a lot of Liberty stuff with her in the arena, and she doesn't really crowd me. But it is helpful to go back to having her tied. I mean, sometimes she will just turn her head like you've seen her do in this session. So then I'll stop cueing for whatever behavior I'm doing in the arena, and I'll just start working on this at Liberty. It's a really great exercise.